Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inside Upstaged, a little segment that we're doing that's just getting really into the meat of Upstage. We're talking to cast, we're talking to crew, we're talking to everybody just about what makes Upstage tick. And right now with me, I have the amazing, the wonderful Heath Camlis.
Stop. Get out of here.
Yeah. Heath, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. I actually just went to a baseball game and it was wonderful.
America's pastime.
America's pastime. Yeah.
I think it's boring, but that is neither here nor there. You know what's a fun sport? Dodgeball. But you know what's not fun? When your glasses are still broken because you got hit in the face with a dodgeball and you have to just keep going to the eye doctor to have them adjust your glasses because they just keep falling off your face.
So a
That's
little
not fun.
context, everybody. I play dodgeball and adult dodgeball, and it's fun, and you should 100% check it out. It is so great. We um we play like every week. We have drop-ins and things like that. Anyways, so I was in a play with your lovely host, and I invited her out to play drop-in dodgeball. And on a she came for a couple weeks, and then one week when I wasn't there, she took a dodgeball to the head, and then now I feel really guilty.
Pick an arrow to the
So
D. You shouldn't feel guilty. It's not like you were gonna just like use the force to get the dodgeball out of my face. So it's okay. It obviously was not on purpose. It was We're good. We're good. But I actually just cannot play dodgeball again until I acquire goggles, prescription goggles, because
not the
I
first person who's had this issue. Yeah,
it's wild.
absolutely.
It's wild. But yeah, dodgeball, baseball, amazing. But what we're here to talk about is upstaged. So before we get into that, just tell us a little bit about yourself, Heath, any reason you love acting, how you got into acting, aside from dodgeball and baseball, things that you like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I actually, ever since I was a kid, I always knew I was going to be either working with kids or acting. And which is weird to know when you're a kid that you're going to be working with kids. But I don't know, I have a big personality and I like interacting with people. And so I was kind of drawn to those two options, really. Um, and I do work with kids and I do act. So bam, hitting on both fronts. Um, yeah, I think the first time that I ever really wanted to get into acting was when I was about 8 years old, and Wizard of Oz was being done, a play, and there was a casting for the Munchkins. They wanted kids to play the Munchkins, and I remember my mom told me about it. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And then I was waiting to hear about it, waiting to hear about it. I asked her about it, and then she told me that we'd actually missed the auditions a little while later, and I was like, I was actually pretty upset. And I'm like, oh wait,
Oh,
I think I might actually want to do this a little bit. So I of course did nothing about it because it was the 90s and you don't have the internet and things like that when you're a kid. So you don't know about all these auditions and things like that. But in high school, I really loved drama, and then I went to university, to the University of Windsor for acting, and um, yeah, a couple of friends and I started a film group, Smog Town Films, and we've been making short films for about 16 years now. And
amazing.
yeah, we've done very well with that. We're actually working on a project right now. So yeah, I've been into acting for a long time. It's a lot of fun, and yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
plays
awesome.
and things like that. Yeah.
So tell me about how you heard about Upstaged.
Well, actually, Upstaged, I heard about directly from Faye and Michael. I happened to be doing a production with them at the Shadowbox Theater. It was a double feature of the event and 448 Psychosis. When they kind of gave me the heads up, hey, we're going to be sending out these auditions. keep your nose to the ground. And I had worked with them once previous and half of another time previous as well recently. It's that's the way it kind of works though. I had never had the opportunity to meet either of them, and then we worked together on three different projects within like 4 months, and
Hmm.
then this came along. So it's weird how the acting community and creative arts communities kind of come together that way.
Absolutely.
You don't know somebody, and then you work with them a bunch all at once.
That's exactly how it works. And Windsor, Essex it has a lot of artistic talent. And like you said, you went to the University of Windsor for acting. They've also got the film program there. They have a fabulous music program. They've got visual arts, and then you have the St. Clair College, which is churning
Yeah,
out musical theater geniuses. So Windsor, Essex is just a wealth of artistic talent.
it's actually really crazy how much we have here, and I think people take it for granted because of just the innate talent level that we produce. Not only the not saying nothing of the people who come to Windsor to take part in these programs, but just the locals who seem to who have just grown up here seem to be already just at a phenomenal level. So that plus all the people who come here for their schooling and in all the different mediums of arts, it's really kind of crazy, like in front of the camera, behind the camera. And then if you're talking theater, there's some amazing set designers around here, some
Mhm.
stage managers, like costumes. Like I've worked with some really incredible people who are local to Windsor, Essex, and it's really impressive once you start to kind of open your eyes to what it's not like this everywhere. We don't have this innate level of talent for every different medium that you could ever need just at your immediate fingertips. That's not accessible anywhere else.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. And actually, Upstage will be employing 50 plus artists. You've got
Yeah.
actors, you have musicians, you have cameramen, you literally have everybody. It's going to be really this wonderful wealth of talent just coming together to create something just inherently Windsor.
Hmm.
It's going to
Yeah,
be really lovely, and everybody is going to be paid, which is also a really lovely thing.
that is very lovely.
We love it when artists are paid. It is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's awesome. Heath, tell me about your character in Upstage.
Oh, well, I'm playing Ed, and I am playing a liar, a braggart. I'm playing somebody who basically just is so amazing at sticking his foot in his mouth and then pretending that it wasn't in there to begin with when everyone can see that his foot is in his mouth, which is a wonderful thing. So it's going to be really fun to do that. um who also has like a deep uncomfortable like essence to him as well. He doesn't really like or know himself that well, and he wishes he was somebody else, and so there's a lot of amazing things going on in there. And yeah, he kind of lies his way into trouble and then tries to lie his way out of it if he can, which he always believes that he can. So like he doesn't know the meaning of the word, just like if some people will stop digging when they're in a hole, not Ed.
He just keeps going.
He just keeps going.
I love
And
that.
yeah, and that's wonderful for him. That's wonderful for him. We
It
like
sounds like
we like
a it sounds like a really fun part. And it sounds like you're gonna have a lot of fun playing that part and just really delving into that character.
Oh, you can't go wrong when you get to play somebody zany like that. It's way more fun. I've always liked playing stranger characters. You know, like if I could, I would. I always like playing villains too. Villains is a
Ooh.
huge fun one. Oh my gosh. One of the big reasons that uh like I think my dream about acting is if I can play a villain in action movies. So I can basically
Ooh.
get paid to get play around with like weapons and guns and swords and things and do all these like action shots, and then at the same time just be like maniacal and evil. Because if I was a wrestler, I would be a heel. I would absolutely be a heel. I would like think of me as Megamind. I feed on your boo, boo, yes, ooh, bring it. That is, I am Megamind. That is that movie. I love that movie. So, but yes,
That's
so
amazing.
yeah.
So you kind of answered my question about what would be like your dream role to play in a
Mm-hmm.
movie. And that's okay. Villains are fun. I have yet to be a villain. I've definitely been unlikable characters before,
The singing tree.
bad people. I have in fact been a singing tree. Um, that was wild. That was art, though. Sometimes stuff is just art. But
You did very well. I didn't know you could sing that well. So both I turned to the person I was with and I was like, wow. And we both kind of went, oh. And then you just kept going. I was like, wow, well done.
yeah,
So you impressed. You definitely impressed.
I keep my masters of opera performance just like in my pocket just for when I have to like flash it out and I'm just like, look what I can do. People are
Yeah,
like, you can do that. Why don't you do that all the time? And I'm just like,
it's like somebody who can do a backflip. You're like, you just hang out with somebody for 20 years and all of a sudden they do a backflip. You're like,
I didn't know
what?
you could
I've
do
never been
that.
able to
How
do
could
it.
why how could you do that? How do you teach me? I want to do
Teach
a
me your
backflip.
sense. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
First question, what is your favorite comedy series? And it can be of all time, but if you don't have that, it can also be right now, because I know that I fluctuate.
Comedy series. Oh boy. And it definitely, you hit the nail on the head there. It definitely fluctuates. Um I really Ted Lasso was phenomenal. I just binge watched that I think 2 months ago. So that one's definitely gonna be up there. Um uh Most things by Ricky Gervais, like he really, so which ironically The Office, so I
Uh,
guess the British Office as well. And oh man, now I'm just gonna start listing a whole bunch of things, but you know what? Let's just go with let's go with the first thing I said.
okay.
Uh, yeah,
I haven't seen
although
that.
Key and Peele shorts,
Oh, Key
yeah,
and
that one's great.
Peele. Oh gosh, that's
Uh,
it's I call my sister's name is Jacqueline or Jacqueline, and every so often you just gotta call her Jaqueline.
Jaqueline,
Yeah.
Jaqueline,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. You just have to. A-Rod, you
Rebecca,
know?
Rebecca,
I don't know how Yath, I don't know how we would do your name.
eat, eat, something like that. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe, maybe. It's good, it's good. Solid choices, solid choices. Favorite comedy film?
Mm, gosh, favorite comedy film. I don't know. Geez, like Talladega Nights is so good. I like maybe Talladega Nights. Like I can just or
Okay.
Step Brothers.
Oh gosh,
Basically,
Step
you
Brothers.
put those two gentlemen together and you can't go wrong. I like John C. Riley, Will Ferrell. You put them beside each other and they just complement each other.
They
And
really do.
they're both very very talented and they just are able to deliver like a tit for tat right back and forth and they match each other's energy and it's really, yeah, I like anytime they work together is definitely something I put up there, but maybe Talladega Nights.
They both have really great comedic timing.
Yeah, their timing is bang on.
Hmm.
And it's not just their timing, it's their sense of each other's timing.
Yes,
And the fact that they've worked with each other for quite a few years now, they're able to read it very well, which is
absolutely.
they're really masters of their craft.
And they've got great chemistry.
Yeah, they really do. They
That's awesome.
really, really, yeah.
Solid choice, solid choice. Um, Favorite funny kids show?
Animaniacs.
Okay. Now you're showing your
Yep.
age.
Oh, yeah. Born in
Um,
the 80s.
Animaniacs, that's a solid choice.
Yeah. Or
I
not gonna
I
say
have I
yeah.
have nothing
Yeah.
else to say about that. That is a solid choice.
Oh, I mean, sometimes you just fall into a great show and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you grew up on it. I mean, Looney Tunes was great,
Hmm.
but I mean, I don't. There's so many great, like, funny kid shows, but I think I just gotta go with Animaniacs, because followed closely by Pinky and the Brain. I'd
Oh,
say
Pinky and the
Pinky and
Brain.
the Brain was great. You know what? I might
Fabulous.
even say Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, it was so
No,
funny. The weirdest thing I ever did in high school was make art of Pinky and the Brain, and then when I graduated, gave it to my English teacher who talked about Pinky and the Brain, and he had it up in his class for a hot minute.
well, yeah,
Like, like
that's not
what?
weird. Okay,
I don't
it's the
know.
same thing as, like, if it's dumb and it works, it's not dumb. Or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or,
Yes, I
like, you know what,
guess.
like, it's if your teacher talked about it and they liked it, and then you made them something and then they had it up, then it wasn't dumb, it wasn't weird. It was something that you both enjoyed and they kept it up in their classroom. It definitely meant something. There's
You know
nothing weird
what?
about that.
My high school doesn't exist anymore, so I wonder, did he throw it out or does he just now have have my
Or is
colored
it like,
pencil like artwork of Pinky and the Brain?
if he does, the real question is it hanging somewhere, or is it like in a moldy file cabinet that's in the garage, that's like the roof caving in kind of thing, like a memory
Ooh.
that he won't see for like 25 years, and then I'll be like, what? Oh,
It-
yes, young Rebecca.
well, it's funny because we should have asked him at the yellow wallpaper because he came to see
Oh,
it in January because
oh, that's okay.
he was the high school teacher. We did the yellow wallpaper, everybody listening.
Yes, yes.
We adapted it for stage, and I talked about how my high school teacher, English teacher, was one of like he was the one that showed it to me, and it made me fall in love with feminist short stories, feminist literature, feminist horror. So yeah, he actually came to see it. He enjoyed it. I should have asked him then about Pinky and the Brain.
Well, I mean, do you have each other on Facebook now? Like, send him like just a really, hey, weird question. Like, a couple years ago, I'm not going to say how many because I don't
Eh.
want to, uh, I made you some art. Would you still have that? Yeah, you never know.
Just send him, I'll just send him this YouTube video.
Yeah, and see what he
Just be like,
says.
hey, can you just watch it? And then like you get like maybe like 20 minutes in, and then there's a question that you need to answer.
Yeah, timestamp it. Send him a
Exactly.
timestamp. Just be like,
Exactly.
you don't
Just
have to
like,
watch the rest. You should.
you know.
And the brain, 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 brain.
Amazing. I love that. So one last question for you, Heatherson. Um, that's not his name. One last question for you, Heath. Why do you think that upstaged is important for Windsor, Essex?
I think that Windsor Essex is really hitting a turning point. We are we have so many people that are working to make all of these talented people who are in Windsor Essex um, able to stay here and work. Uh, just like we don't want to lose all of our artists, and so many people have noticed that, and there's a ton of people who are trying to offer paid work and who are putting in grants and who are built their new media complexes are being built so that people can work on this, and there all these things are being done to bring artists together. And the Windsor International Film Festival was built into, I think, one of, like, the second biggest one in Canada, and over the course of the last it really started taking off, like, I don't know, what, 15 years ago. It started to
Sounds
really
about
ramp
right.
up since then. And Like, so we have all these amazing people making these huge pushes. Well, I think Upstaged is the new face of that in a way, because it's the largest push for paid work for a variety of actors, like and artists, where like, and again, musicians and like everybody who would be involved, the writers, the like everybody. There's so many people working on this, and to get everybody paid in this, um we've had some things like this before, but nothing that's uh really employed this many people for this level of pay and stuff like that. And I really think like there's definitely things to be said about vampire zombies and like all
Hmm.
these other amazing projects that are being done. And well, this one is just it just has such a massive cast, and we're really trying to pay people like a competitive wage, and people should be paid for their work. Everybody
Absolutely.
should be paid for their work, and I think that that's one of the reasons why it's so important. It's that it's because there's so many people a part of this. I think this definitely has the capacity to become the face of the Windsor talent and movement. And if all goes well, we'll probably get even more seasons, which means even more opportunities for everyone who's in it now, and maybe people who aren't in it yet, who could be in it for another season or two, which would be phenomenal.
Absolutely. They have 3 seasons planned. So
There you go.
that's the plan. They have the story arc for 3 seasons. Obviously the script for the first season, but yeah, 2 more seasons after that.
And there you go. So it's really, especially because it's a TV show, and they just have there's more content to film.
Mm.
Um, and that gives you more opportunities to have people working around here. And I mean, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Why do you know that?
The Office.
The Office. When you have a TV show that is like a comedy TV show filmed in an area, all of a sudden now people who just watch that show, who have never been there, know of that place and
Absolutely.
like want to go there, and they want to see Scranton, they want to see the office building and stuff like that. Well, if this takes off, well, people will maybe want to come to Windsor and say, "Hey, oh, this is where they filmed that scene," or "This is
Hmm.
where Jan threw the trophy at Michael's TV plasma TV," and that, which I think it really has just a lot of potential to make people want to come here and see what's going on and pay artists and keep talent here. So I think there's a definitely a lot of value to Upstaged being done.
Absolutely. Very well said, Heath. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And make sure you follow us on social media. We have Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're kind of everywhere. So follow us, see what's going on, and have a wonderful night. Thank you so
Have
much,
a great one.
Heath.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.